of that name. Glory to the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Oh, why are we here? We're here because of Jesus. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Let me welcome you to youth service. I know I'm not that young, but I'm young enough to be opening up youth service. Praise God. Hallelujah. So good to see everyone here. So good to see our visitors, our guests. Thank you so much for being here. We're just looking forward to God just having His way in this place. Hallelujah. I'd like to go to the Lord in prayer as we begin. Do we have any prayer requests tonight? Yes, ma'am.
I got a friend, they put her on a ventilator last night, and she needs prayer.
Yes.
Amen.
Let's remember this. Yes, ma'am. Yes, let's remember this. Yes, sir.
One of my employees found out the day before Christmas his wife had cancer, and they're having a hard time coming up with the money for the treatment. And just remember, like I said, very feeble that they're just having a hard time financially. And just remember their situation.
Yes, let's remember this.
Brother Taylor, remember Brenda and Victoria tonight. They're both sick. They need Jesus.
Yes. Let's remember this. Yes.
Remember Brad, he's got Bell's palsy inside his face. He's on prayer.
Let's remember this.
Remember Lois.
This is yours. Yes.
Remember my mom. Going back to surgery again, maybe 10 for cancer.
Let's hold on to prayer.
Continue to remember Joshua tonight and Kelly Bradley, so you have to be praying for them.
Yes. Remember this. Anyone else? Let's stand. Take these knees before God. Praise the Lord. So good to have brother and sister Meekum here with us. Brother Meekum, will you lead the Lord in prayer?
Father God.
Oh God, we thank you, Lord. Oh, for the Spirit, God. Oh, we thank you. Oh, for the power of Jesus Christ. We thank you. Oh, that there is such a power and anointing that oh, through that blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord. Every need, every given need, God. Those that are sick tonight that can't be here. Oh, the many, God. Oh, Lord, we know you can meet the need. You can heal. My God. Oh, before this service is over, we can have a great report of healing. Oh, Lord, we just come before you. Lord, we ask at your service, God. Move on these things. Present these things. We're not worried about them. We're not stressing about them. Father, put them in your hands. Give them to your work. Your work be done. Your will be done. Have your way, mighty God. Have your way, mighty God. Move in this place. Move in this place. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Oh, as you're standing, just reach over, shake somebody's hand, say, thank you so much for being here. Praise the Lord, it's good to see you. If it wasn't for me, you'd be the best looking person in the place. You don't have to say all that. But while you're standing, go ahead and reach in your back pocket or your pocketbook. We go to take up our offering now. Glory to God. It's good to have our evangelist here, Brother Zach Wan. Just give him a hand. Thank you for coming, brother. Thank you so much for being here. Now, that lady that's sitting beside of him he's going to be marrying her. I'm sure he has his reasons. I'm joking. We're friends, so I can pick on her. I hope as long as they don't come back up here and pick on me, we'll be all right. You'll have the mic here soon. But they are getting married here shortly, so he gets a real good offering for that. Amen? Amen. So let's dig deep. Let's give as unto the Lord. Let's worship in our giving.
God.
We sing hallelujah. The Lamb has
Oh, praise the Lord. Evangelist, come up here, get ready. You and your fiance, get ready with church. As they're coming, can we stand back up? Lift our hands to the risen King. Death has been conquered. Jesus Christ, our Lord. Hallelujah. Let's give him a hand clap of praise. In the house, hallelujah. We give him lift up our hands. Honor to the church. Most of all, we honoring God. No. All I gotta say is seeing as many young people as your church has. Wow. It's incredible to see. I grew up with a group of young people. There were about 25 of us in total. And the more things happened in our lives, the more things went on farther. One by one, they started to choose the world over God. They started to choose there's something greater out in the world. Something else they can attain. Something they can attain monetarily, attain physically. But they decided to turn their back on God. And look back now, there's only 2 out of the 25 of us that are still worshiping God. They're still doing the right path. The old path. You know, tonight, Brother Taylor asked me. The first thing that came to my mind was take this whole world. Right? There's many times in our life, things can come up, things can become so distracting in our lives. Right? We have choices we have to make. Right? You know, my testimony itself is an easy one. I grew up, growing up, my brother was the one who was in church first, and then I followed. My mom raised me in church. My dad was never one to go to church. My dad was one who hated the fact that me and my mom, my brother went to church. We would come home at night sometimes and things would be so rough. And it wasn't ever bad, that's not what I'm saying. But my dad, he was always one to quickly blame God for things in my life. I would have a made-up mind, you know, I'm going to go to church. My dad would always ask for something wrong, go. He said, why are you worshiping God? God doesn't love you enough, or else things like that won't be happening. But the more he started to do that, the more I had to realize for myself. I backslid at a young age. I went out into the world, did things I'm not proud of. At 14 years old, I got so tired of it. I was at school one day, I just got tired of people making fun of me, I got tired of the bullying. I made up my mind, look, this is going to be the night. I'm going to end it all, and I had to think twice about it. But then my youth pastor called me. He said, what you're doing is wrong. You know it. I never talked to him once about it. He said, what you're doing, you know where it's going to lead you at. He said, come next week with us to youth camp. It's Granite City. I was like, all right, no, fine, I'll give you one more week, whatever. I can always do it later. My big mistake was I listened. I went. I say it was a mistake. It was the greatest blessing I ever had in my life. I was ended up getting saved. Went back the next year. I was called to preach. 15 years old. Praise the Lord. And my dad, he always asked me, he said, you feel like you're going to be one of them holy rollers, one of them preacher people. I said, no, I'm going to be serving God. I'm going to do things I know is right. Right? Yeah. Right? I got 18 years old, mom and dad backslid from God. I had to have a made-up mind for myself that no matter what, I'm going to keep going to church. Right? 18 years old. Doing it on my own. It was never easy, but God held me through it all. God made a way for me to stand. It was never easy, but I stood with God on my side. God was always one to lead me and direct me the way I need to go. He was always the one to go push me and show me where I had to go. You know, the song we're getting ready to sing, I want y'all to listen very closely to it all. There's verses in it that are very important. I feel like they can help somebody here.
Lord.
tonight, I don't remember when it was. I started praying when I was younger. You know, God sent me a preacher. I want to marry a preacher. And, you know, I've been a pastor's daughter. Daddy's been at church for like 27 years. And I always felt comfortable in church and everything. But I'm a little bit out of my element today because we went this morning and preached somewhere else. And, you know, tonight, I just want to thank God for that opportunity. Because, you know, I look back about 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for God. If it wasn't for His hand, I made some mistakes. And if it wasn't for His hand, I wouldn't be here. And I want to thank Him for His keeping power and His grace. You know, I'm not worthy, but I just want to thank Him. I want to thank Him for allowing me to be in the ministry. I just want to thank Him.
Praise God. Praise God.
Thank God for every minute for her. I'm getting ready to marry up, I will say that. If you guys would like to turn your Bibles with me, you're reading Proverbs chapter 7, verses 7 to 27, and again in Philippians chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. I will say this, so the devil does not like to see young people in church. He might do anything he can to take them out and make them do what he wants to do. But I'm glad to see there's still some young people that made up mind.
Absolutely.
Proverbs chapter 7, verses 7 to 27. And behold, among the simple ones I've discerned among the youths, a young man, void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner. And he went the way of her house in the twilight, the evening, in the black and the dark night. And behold, there met him a woman, with the tire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn, and her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait in every corner. So she caught him and kissed him with an impudent face, said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings and tapestry, carved works and fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill to love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love, for the good man is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him, will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech and calls him to yield, but the flatteries of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her in straight ways, with the ox goeth through the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hateth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths, for she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way of hell, going down to the chambers of death. Philippians chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. Not as though I have already attained either, were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend for which also I am apprehended of Christ Jesus. Brethren, I count not myself to be apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. If you would, stretch your hands this way and ask God to help us tonight.
Oh God, we ask for it. Oh, your hand, God. Oh God, exceeding the abundance of love. Oh, we ask for an anointing, minister God. Oh, give them that unction. Give them that power from on high, God. Oh, help us for the future. Not years only. Oh, help us, God. Oh, help us, God. Oh, this night, God, we're around these altars. Oh, yes. Thank you, God, with your Holy Ghost. Oh, we love you, mighty God. Oh, praise the Lord. Oh,
Notice, I said once before, this world doesn't like to see young people worshiping God at all. They do anything in our lives to try to take us out of church, to try to draw us away to things that they can maneuver and manipulate for us so we cannot find a way back to the altar. Young people, they try everything in the world to distract them from the things of this world. Right? There's 4 points I'd like to preach on tonight, which is the choice, the distraction, the judgment, and our evil. So the choice, this young man in the reading, you read about him, he had a choice whether to go the right way that he knew was home. Instead, he went her way, her path.
Right.
Which leads me to believe that there was another way. You look at the church in the front of it, there's a path over here, a path in the middle, which is straight, and a path to the side, you got to snake around and get back in there. You look at the front of it, you can always go forward. You can always walk straight down the right path, but the people of the church have went forward. The way the elders of the church have laid out before us. Young people who come up at a great age have had a lot of great elders in the church has led us the way we need to go.
Right.
We look at their lives of prayer and fasting, a daily devotion to God.
Yes.
There's so many times our young people today, they have lost the fact of the daily devotion. They have lost the will to have a daily devotion. It's too hard. The world would like to tell us today that the daily devotion lifestyle is for the old ways. That's no longer needed today. God's understanding today. The world would like to tell you the things that are in this world, the things that we do, the things that are offered are things that are new and they're better than the old ways. Those old ways is sometimes hard. It's never an easy way to follow. But you have to have a made-up mind and I'm going to stick with it that no matter what, I'm going to stand strong.
Right.
And I'm going to follow with it.
Yeah.
He had a choice to go the way that he knew was home. No doubt he probably had a dinner at home waiting. It was in the evening time. Maybe he was late for bed. Maybe he was late getting home to see his family. But he decided one way, maybe it was a shortcut. In a way, in parentheses, I'm going to throw that up there in air quotes. He had a decision to make. Either go down this way, which was maybe a dark alley, to her way. Or go the way that was the way I knew I could get home.
Right.
There's many times, if you ever get to the point where you start driving, you're coming to detours. There's times at work, I have to drive to Winston-Salem every day. There's signs I see, it says detour, follow this route. I say, nah, I'm good. I can go straight, I know this way better. Didn't listen to the road sign, little did I know, a bridge is out. I about went off the deep end of a bridge without being in. But if I were to listen to the road signs, if I were to follow the directions of the government's place in control, the road workers, to have authority over me to follow. But no, I try to bullhead through. And next thing I know, I'm almost wrecking.
Right.
I'm almost driving my van into a ditch. I'm almost to fall away and not be able to get back to where I once was. Because I went by my own understanding. I went by my own path. I went by my own choice. There's times when we have tried and we want to risk everything we have. We think it's going to be great to risk. For some reason about young people, we like the sense of danger. For some reason we think we're destructible. We think we do anything we want. We think we can't be destroyed. When I was 18, I had a made-up mind. I'm going to go and serve my country. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you can, that's great. But I advise you to pray and ask God if that's His plan for your life. My plan, I've been preaching for about 3 years. And I had a made-up mind. I'm going to do it because that's something I want to do. But tongues and interpretations, people have warned me not to do it. My mom has prayed with me and told me this is not the will of God. But I had a made-up mind. I told myself, that's just people not wanting me to go. That's just people not wanting me to do what I want to do. But neither did I understand it was God trying to warn me.
Right.
I was sitting there at night, I was getting ready to go to sleep and had a dream. It was right before I went to enlist, it was right before I went to sign the paperwork. And I was sitting there, I had a dream of me doing something. And God spoke to me and said, if you keep going down the path you go, I'm going to take your ability to run. And you can't run from me no more. I just kind of shook my head, this is nothing, it's just me, something I've dreamed up. The next day I signed, I went on. I was 2 weeks, we were shipping out for basic. And we were playing football, and we just kind of celebrating all, just getting ready to go on to what we want to do, become men, what we thought. So we went on a little more, we played football without padding. Again, people think we're indestructible, don't we? We sat there, we began to run, and I got tackled. Next thing I know, my kneecap's off the front of my knee, upside halfway up my thigh. My kneecap completely dislocated. As I laid there, I felt God tell me, I told you.
Right.
I had a plan for you. You decided to go by your own choices, your own path, instead of following my face and my will for your life. To this day, I still have struggle running. I have trouble with my knee today. That's been 6 years now. I had to do math there for a second. It's been 6 years. I struggle with things in my life. I don't know why. But I understand. I look back at this day and I say, you know what? Because I went my own path. Because I struggled and I didn't want to listen to God. I didn't want to get down on my knees and apologize to God. I didn't want to myself and tell myself that God has a right way for my life. But because young people, we sit there, we think our own ways are right. We think our own ways are true. We're going to follow our own choices and our own paths. And before we know it, we're so far in the back of the church we can't see the front. We get so far distracted from things at school, things at work. There's some young people who probably don't get to start working soon. Have a made up mind that you're not going to skip school, obviously, but you're not going to skip church night. When church night is in, you be in the house of God. Many young people, they are out in the world because they decided to say, you know what? I can't get a job unless I work on church night. Not so. Make a commitment to God that, you know what, when the house is open, I'm going to be in the house and I'm going to pray for God. I'm going to have a made up mind that no matter what comes my way, I'm going to be in the house of God. I have a made up mind that my choice is going to be following God. That my choice is going to be standing tall against whatever comes my way. With God's help, against my back, I'm going to stand strong. I'm going to stand in the way of the cross. And not fall to the side. I'm not going to fall away to a distraction. Again, coming to the distraction. The young man had a choice. The distraction he had was either go her way and follow the way he thought might have gotten home quicker. The distraction of his life can lead you to a way to where you no longer know which way to go forward. You get so confused, you get so much confusion in your lives, you no longer know which way to go forward. And then the devil talks to you and tries to tell you, you've gone too far. The distractions are always out. The distractions of school, of sports, of video games, of things in this life. You don't know where else to go to. You don't know where else to turn. So you sit there and you follow your own ways. But instead of saying to ourselves, I'm going to follow what I know is right, instead of following our Word. Our Word is a light into our path. You know, when I was in high school, you know, I carried my Bible with me. I carried my Bible with me every single day. I prayed and I read during lunch break. Our classes were an hour and a half long. We always have an hour after the teacher taught. We'd have an hour to do what we wanted. Work on schoolwork or whatever, but I decided to read. We had a class called SRT, Student Resource Time. It was an hour and a half to do what we wanted. You know, just read, go talk to your friends. I decided to sit there and I decided to read the Word. I was made fun of. I was ridiculed for it every single day. And people came up and they said, you know what, you're a coward. And you're weak for carrying your Bible. You're weak because you think your Bible's going to tell you for everything you need a problem for. You think it's going to be an answer. I looked at it, finally had enough of it, and I looked at the guy and said, you know what, you carry it. You think I'm so weak for carrying the Word of God, you carry it for a day and see how much stronger you think I am. They said, no, I can't do that. I'll be made fun of just like I'm making fun of you. Yeah, I know. The Word of God is never an easy thing to bear. It's never an easy thing to stand up for. It's never easy to say, you know what, what's coming my way, and we'll stand strong, we'll stand true. We'll stand upon the Word of God in our lives. When we stand strong, we have this doubt in our lives, and we don't know where else to turn to. We're going to stand strong. You know, our life in God, you know, our lives in church. We always think, you know, it's going to be an easy way at first. People make it out. The Christian life is always the easiest way. They make it out, well, this thing is going to somehow ward everything off that's ever come our way. I wish. You know, people say, you know, it's easier out in the world. It's the Christian. The sinners are always getting everything they wanted. It seems like they don't have to work hard. Yeah, because the devil's not fighting.
Come on.
You know, people, it's never going to be easy being a Christian. But it's always have a greater payday in the end. You know, working is the best day you can work is payday. That's when you get your money. The best time to be a Christian is your payday. I never understood in my life when my mom told me. My mom would sit down beside me and say, you know what, I'm homesick for heaven. I never understood that. I always said, Mom, why are you so anxious to leave me? Why are you so anxious, you know, to die and go to heaven? She said, but you don't understand. Until you understand the Word. Until you understand the path that's my way, until you understand what's going on, you never understand why you're homesick. I look back now, one of my favorite songs is I'm homesick for heaven. I'm ready to go. I want to be there. When I was backslid, my mom told me, she said, you know what, if I could get you into heaven, I would. She said, because you haven't earned it. She said, if I were to let you, if God were to let you into heaven, backslid like the state you're in, he'd have to put a guard tower up, keep you stealing the gold bricks in the road.
That's true.
There's so much in this life, there's so much worth, so much more than what the world will promise you. The world may say, you know, we have money, we have fame, we have fortune. Every young person wants to be the next great athlete, the next best singer. Our name up in the lights. We almost want a legacy of it. We want to be known for something in our lives. We want to have something said to us, hey, I remember you. You did this. Young people are so much more. When I carried my Bible one day at school, it was snowing out. I'm from Indiana. We have a lot more snow than you guys get down here. I had about 2 feet of snow on the ground. We're sitting there, and I was carrying my Bible. The kids said, you know, take my Bible from me and throw it out in the snow. I saw the snow literally dissipate from away from this Bible and land on dry ground.
Glory to God. Praise the Lord.
And when I picked it up from the dry ground, the snow came back to where it once was. And I looked at it and said, this is my God.
Right.
Next thing I know, we're having Bible study.
Right.
We're having preaching during lunch.
Hallelujah.
Because I had a made-up mind that no matter what we're going to do, no matter what we're going to stand for, we're not going to listen to the distractions of the world. And we're going to stay strong. We're going to stay true for what's a made-up mind. To have a know, or have a will, a life, and our things. Maybe he had plans for your life. Maybe this young man had plans for his life. Maybe he had dreams and goals. Either they came with a distraction, something to where he knew he should not have been. When you're at home alone, your door's shut, you're surfing on the internet. You know the way you're supposed to be going. You know the path you're supposed to be on. Follow the path that's right. It's all right.
That's all right.
There's distractions that come to us. We always think, nobody's going to find out. God tells you, pastor stuff. Take this from a guy who knows. Your pastor knows. He finds out through God telling him. You ain't got to sit there and say he ain't ever going to find out, because he knows more than what he thinks. God lets him in on little secrets about you. The judgment. This young man, he had a judgment in his life. He had things in his life. He knew where he was wanting to go. He knew his end path. He knew his game. He knew what he wanted to do. There's things in his life, he suffers through things. We all have things we face. We all have daily things we struggle with. But God's able to help you with. To pray and to fast and to seek God and have God deliver you through things is so much greater. I can look back on how I once was when I was 14, when I was 15 years old, and the things I struggled with. I can go back to young people and say, you know what? God helped me with that. I should have never been there. But God helped me. He delivered me. I was never one. I was made fun of in high school. I was a very short guy. I was 4'2" when I got my license. I was very short. Had to have telephone books somewhere to sit on or sit on the steering wheel. I was very short. People made fun of me, and I was picked on for school for being short. And I had a friend who was 6'4" in sixth grade. He's 6'4" and still growing. He's 6'7" now, 380 pounds. Big dude. They called him Goliath. They called me David. When I was made fun of, when I was picked on, I had nowhere else to turn, so I didn't know where else I was going to go. I knew the judgment was coming, that someone was going to pick on me. That was their judgment that day. They were going to make fun of something. But I could look around the things, I could see Goliath back there in the back stand and watching. Whenever I would get upset and I'd run away, he'd come back to it and he'd deal with it. It's the only time you hear about Goliath standing for David. God stood for things in my life. He knew what it was to be a Christian. I had people and friends in high school. Friends told me, and friends made fun of me for being Pentecostal. People made fun of the name of Pentecostal. They made fun of the name of Jesus Christ. Lord help me. I got a phone call a couple years ago. A man called me up and said, I need to apologize to you. One of my biggest bullies in high school. He said, I need to apologize to you for the times I made fun of you and the times I made fun of you being a Christian. He said, you standing tall, you standing strong, and you standing for what was right, led me to know there was something more out there. I'm not saying this for my own glory, my own vain, or anything like that. But he told me, he said, that led me back to a church that I knew where I needed to be right. He's still saved to this day. It's never easy. It's never easy dealing with things. It's never easy standing for the Word of God. It's never easy, but you know what? You stand for God. He's going to stand for you in the end. You look at Stephen when he was stoned. He looked up to heaven and he saw Jesus standing aside of the throne of God. He stood for God. And Jesus will stand for him. He never understood why God was going to do these things. You never understand why God will allow these judgments. You never understand why God's going to let these things happen to your life. I don't understand. I can dress this body up to all I want. I can look nice. But if I don't have God in my life, the judgment in the end is still going to be hell. There's not going to be a way for you to escape that. I once heard, the worst part about going to hell is not the fire of the flames. It's not knowing God's voice. You no longer hear there's a separation there.
Right.
You no longer hear your conscience telling you that's wrong. You no longer hear God speak to you saying, you know what, come back to me, I still love you. He's no longer standing there with arms open wide. There's a judgment that's came. There's a judgment that's thrown you there because you decided that you're not going to follow God. Young people, I don't know why I'm saying that. I feel like somebody needs to know that. The way you're going is not right. And you know it. God has a plan for the young people in this life. Me and Sister Andrea, you know, we kind of have a scripture for our relationship. It's Jeremiah 29:11. If I can find that, I'll read that to you, actually. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a good and expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, and when ye shall search for me with all your heart, and I will be found of you, saith the Lord. I will turn away from your captivity, and I will gather you from all nations, from all the places where you have been driven, saith the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away. You know, you may be going to a place, you may be at a place you never thought you never going to be before. You know, the sinner never plans to be where he is now. He never plans to go that far. He always plans a little bit. The devil's want to keep you longer than you want to go. Longer than you want to stay. Making you more than you ever wanted to do. The devil has a plan for the young people. He has a plan for you. He has a desire for your souls. A desire for your hearts. But until we have a made-up mind, you know, that we can say, you know what? Take this whole world, but you got to give me Jesus. I got to have Him no matter what comes my way. No matter what sin, no matter what comes, no matter what comes my way, no matter what diversion or distraction, you have to realize yourself, division, diversion, or distraction. Is it ever worth your soul? Is it worth going to hell over? Whatever you're doing, you have to ask yourself, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you think you're doing in secret, is it worth going to hell over? Is it worth not having a made-up mind to know whatever you're doing is wrong? And to know the right way, but decide to have a decision of yourself to go what your own will wants to do. No, I love every single one of you young people. You know, I was a youth pastor there for a while. I love young people. I have a burden for them. But you know what? There has to come a made-up mind. You know, when you're old enough, I believe every single one of you born, have a made-up mind, decide, you know what, you're going to follow God. No matter what comes your way, no matter what you're dealing with, I'm going to serve God. You know, when I was 18 years old, Mom and Dad backslid from God, I had to have a made-up mind that no matter what comes my way, I'm going to go to church. My dad tried to ground me from church. I had to sneak out of the house in order to go to church. I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying do that at all. But I had a hunger and I had a thirst for God. My dad tried to ground me from the Bible. I had 4 of these sneaking around my room. He'd take one, I'd pull out another. He'd come back in, take that one, I'd pull out the other one. I had ways of still seeking God's Word. Finally, he got me a smartphone. I had a Bible on my phone. He tried to take that. I had 5. But I had things planned out. I had things, I had a hunger and a thirst for God. At a young age, I had to know that God was right. And I had to know what I had to go to, and I had to know where I had to be at in order to find God in my life. I always knew I couldn't just stand and find Him out in the bars or the street corners. I couldn't find Him at the school parties. I found Him at the altar. I found Him on my knees praying in my room in secret. I found Him seeking His face. When I saw His face, He came, He met with me. It wasn't just me praying to something up in the air or nothing was there. It was something that when I would pray and I would hear His voice, it was so sweet. It was so special to me. And when you pray and you hear God talking back to you, it makes it so much better. We need to know, there isn't something there. You know, when it says we must be apprehended of Christ. You know, whenever you see a cop and he pulls somebody over and says, put your hands up, come out. Let me see your hands. You don't sit there and have one hand up and one hand behind your back because you will get tasered. You have to have a made-up mind that, you know what? I'm going to give everything. I'm not going to hide anything back. If you have both hands up, you can't hide anything. If you have both hands up and you're coming out, he also says, back up to me. Because then when you get about 5 feet away, he says, turn around. That way he can see every bit of you. Not just the front or the back. He wants to see every bit you have. And know that everything you have, you're willing to be apprehended. You know, if you're apprehended of God and there's nothing else in your life, there's nothing else that can come your way. Because you have God and that's all you're holding on to. That's all you're doing. When your hands are up, you're usually holding on to something. Or your hands are up and you have your palms open. But God can see everything in your life. If your palms are open, you're doing this, you're holding on to God. Your palms are open, you're showing God everything I have is you. You take it off. We have to have a made-up mind. Diversion, distraction, the choice, everything we've done, the judgment, has to be something for our lives. We've gone too far. The devil will try to tell you, you've done too much. But everything you've done in your life has not been worth enough for God to turn his back on you. God still loves you, still willing to say, no matter what comes your way, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you say to yourself, God still loves you. He's still standing there with arms open wide, saying, come back to me. I still love you.
Come on.
He's calling you forward. He's calling you back to the place where He was, asking that you would give everything back to Him. You know, you may have turned your back on God. I don't know you guys very well. You may have turned your back on God. You may say, you know what? I've done too much. I've said too much. Nonsense. I was one who was raised right, who chose to go back on things because it was easier to instead of getting made fun of every day for standing for God. I decided, you know, it's easier to stand for what the world wanted me to stand for than standing for myself. I wanted to stand for God, but the world told me it was easier to stand for them. And I listened. I was foolish in listening to the world and listening to the things they wanted me to do. But I had to have a made-up mind when I was 15. I was going to end it all. 14, I mean. And my youth pastor told me, come to youth camp with me. Give it one more week. After that, you do what you want. I gave him one more week, and the preacher preached on the God of a second chance.
Oh, Lord. Lord.
Just in time, right?
Right.
Just in time to come to my life, and just in time to show up enough for me to understand that I had a second chance coming my way.
Yes.
I had a second chance knowing that I could do something better than my life. I had a second chance knowing what I was going to do
Praise the Lord.
was better in the end. A second chance to deliver me from myself. Your greatest enemy is yourself. Your greatest enemy, which is yourself, will tell you you've done too much. You've gone too far. But no, look at the elders of the church. They're the role models. They're the spiritual warriors that stood tall. They stood the fight. They stood in the battles. They stood in the trials. They stood in the valley when it's low, and they stood high on the mountain when it's high. And they marched around the mountain. They marched around the fortress. You know, they've had a life of prayer, fasting, and daily devotion. The 3 things that make up a Christian that you need was a daily devotion, fasting, and prayer. You have to have a personal relationship with God.
That's right. That's right.
You know, if she never even once put effort into our relationship, if she never once put effort into anything we did together, I would feel pretty low. I'd feel pretty lonely.
Right.
But no, she puts forth an effort. Lets me know she cares.
Right.
If you don't put an effort into God, how does He know you care?
Oh, come on.
If you don't put a personal effort, a personal game into it, you know, if you have blood, sweat, and tears into a football game, playing on Saturday mornings, you better have blood, sweat, and tears in your Christian walk.
Sure.
Right.
If you get hyped up and hooped up and everything you do out in the world, everything you do at school, come to church and get hooped up and hyped up and everything God.
Amen.
You know, in your lives, when things come your way, diversion and distraction, is it worth your soul? Is it worth going to hell and falling back on? The devil would love to gain your soul. We all have a choice to make. We always have that one choice, that one decision. Is everything I'm going to do, is it glorifying God? What you're listening to, what you're saying, the jokes you're laughing at school,
Right, come on.
Right.
is it glorifying God?
Come on.
I'm preaching to myself, but that one the same. Every bit in our lives, let's have a made-up mind. We're going to glorify God in every aspect of your life. Not just when you're at church. That's where a lot of the young people in my youth group messed up. They said, I'm going to go out in the world and do what I want to do. But I come to church and I give them everything then. You can't have a double life.
That's right.
You can't have a church life here at church and have a worldly life out in the world.
Right, amen.
You can't live one way and be another. You're either on the fence, you're going to fall whichever way.
Right.
You ever try to sit on a fence? It's hard to do. It's hard to straddle the fence. It's even harder to straddle an electric fence. And that's what the world is. The electric fence is going to either put you one way or it's going to put you another.
Right.
You drive down the country road, you see cows or horses, and they're sticking their head through the fence, and they're eating the grass on the other side. I think the worst and kind of the funniest thing I've ever seen was a horse doing, or bull doing that, had a bull ring and a chain strapped to it. He went to stick his head through it, and his chain hit the electric fence. Lit him up. But he learned not to go back to that fence.
Right.
He learned to eat on the grass that was his side.
Right.
Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a young person is they get hurt, beat out in the world, and then they have a scar or they have a wound that's often reopened so easily. You know, a scar can be something that reminds you so much pain. It reminds you of so much hurt in our lives. But it's something that's always ever reminds you. Young people, don't let the world tell you that you never be a testimony without doing something out in the world. Don't ever let them tell you that your testimony isn't worth anything if you don't have something to be thankful for. The greatest thing you guys can be thankful for is I never had experienced the world.
Right. That's right.
The greatest testimony is God kept me from all that.
Right.
God kept me from the things that I could have faced.
Right.
But no, don't get caught up in the world telling you that you have to experience the world. Just because you turn 18 and 21 doesn't mean you guys have to experience the thing the world wants you to experience.
Right.
You can keep true and you can keep holy.
Right.
You can have a holiness in your life from day one.
Right.
You can have something in your life and you tell the world, thank you, but no thank you.
Come on.
I choose to be a Christian.
Right.
There's a song that says, I choose to be a Christian.
Yes.
I choose to be like Him.
Glory.
I can smoke, I can cuss till my face turns blue, but I'm going to be like Him.
Right.
I take this whole world, but give me Jesus.
Yeah.
Silver and gold is not worth anything to me.
Come on.
Money's nice, but money goes away.
Right.
Bills comes and money's gone. Bills come. It takes everything away from you. You may have a few cents left over, but if you don't have God, you have nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Do not listen to the world and their options, the new ways they say they've found, the new ways of church. You see the things now, the new ways people are having in church, the fog machines, the strobe lights. They say that's the new generation of church. That's the way us young people worship God. Hoopla. If you don't have God in your lives, if you don't have God in your worship, if you can't tell the difference between your church service and an AC/DC concert,
Come on now.
you're not going to church. You're not worshiping God. You have to have a made-up mind in your life that no matter what comes my way, I'm going to go back to the old ways.
Right.
The way the elders of the church, the way Brother Mika has led the church.
Right.
The way he's lived his life, the way Sister Mika has led her life. Great two role models for you young people.
Right.
Follow them.
That's right.
Don't let the world come up and tang you guys in and bring you guys out into the world.
Come on, brother.
You ever look at nature and they caught in a fish net. You look at seals that caught in it, they get all tumbled up. They can't find their way in. They thought, hey, there's a fish in that fish net. I'm going to go get it. Next thing you know, their flippers caught in this hole. Their tail's caught in another hole. They can't get out. They got to be rescued. Somebody has to come up and cut those nets off of them. They have to have something in their lives to draw them back out once we're in. Something they thought they were so easily get into. Something they so easily thought that I was going to be able to get what I want and get out.
Right.
The world is not that easy. It's a bear trap.
Right.
A bear trap has teeth. When you stick your hand in there, you stick your leg in there, it clenches.
Right.
When it clenches, it cuts blood vessels. It cuts arteries, flesh, and muscle, where you can't get back out. It digs in. The more you move, the more tighter it gets on you. And the harder it is to get out. And the more blood comes out. You can only lose so much blood before you die.
Right.
Same way in a Christian walk.
Right.
If you were losing so much blood because you caught a bear trap, there's a healer for it.
Right.
He's at the altar waiting for you all. If you sit there, you have nowhere else to turn to. If you have nowhere else to go to, why not try Jesus?
Come on.
Come on.
I dare you young people to try Jesus for a day.
Oh,
And see
yeah.
how much better your life is.
That's
You
right.
can always go back out in the world.
Sure.
You can always turn back to where you're at. You can always come back to where you're going. But try Jesus for a day.
Come on. Come on.
Give Him everything you have for a week. and see how much better your life gets.
Right? Right? Amen.
Stick to the Word and pray. Listen to God.
Right.
Let Him direct your paths. Let Him make your mind up. He doesn't just want a robot. Someone says computing, I'm going to do what you want me to do, computing. He wants you to have a made-up mind and feeling behind it all. To love Him deeply. To love Him enough where you're going to choose to come to house of God. Not because your mom or your dad make you. Or your grandma and grandpa. Not because they tell you that you got to go to church. But because you have enthusiasm behind you. You have a life, you have a heart for God. And no matter what comes your way, you know what? I love God enough, I choose to go. You know, young people, when your mom and dad make you go, you're a robot. It's not you choosing to worship God. It's not you choosing to serve God. It's you being made to serve God. But you choosing to go. I came to the point in my life when mom and dad came home, I was already dressed in the van waiting to go to church. I was excited for God. I was hungry to seek something more. I was hungry and I was able to find God in places I never thought.
Right.
I was homeschooled my junior and senior year of high school. I loved it. I was able to pray. I was able to seek God when I wanted to. Mom and Dad both worked, so I taught myself. But I had church every single day. I had times where I dwelt in God for a day, where I lost all track of time. I skipped lunch. I didn't even know there was any lunchtime available. Because I was hungry for God.
Right.
I had something for God.
Amen.
I had a hunger and I had a thirst for something more. Young people, it doesn't matter how old you are, 3 to 24. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you have a hunger and thirst for God, God's going to quench it. And He's going to give you something that you want. He's going to give you something to find in Him that's going to make you keep coming back.
That's right.
Right.
Andre, if you want to get a song.
Oh.
Get ready, Tim. I'm never really a long-winded preacher. But young people, I have a burden for you. I know there's someone here who's straddling that fence.
Right.
I don't know who you are. But I know there's someone here who knows it. God's already been dealing with it. God's already been drawing you here. And God still wants you to come back. He's still waiting for you. He still is hungry to see you come back to God. He's still waiting with arms open wide saying, come. I still love you. You've not gone too far. No, but until you have that made up mind that take this whole world, but give me Jesus. Silver and gold. It all melts away in the end. A dollar bill, it always burns. It's paper in the end. It's paper, especially, is all it is. And we accept it. But until you get rid of that, until you get rid of the hunger and the thirst for the things of the Lord, I promise you change your hunger and thirst for the things of God, and you think whatever you're doing, you think you can do better. That's when you get deep with God. When you have a hunger and thirst. You know, people, just come to the altar right now. If you feel like God's dealing with you, if you feel like you can have a deeper walk with God, especially, if you don't even have a walk with God, but you would like one.
That's right.
If you don't know, I challenge you to try Him for a day. Try Him for a week. Come back next Sunday and see if it's worth anything. If you try Him for a week, it's going to be a hard week. Because the devil's going to throw everything he can at you. But there's a pastor. There's fellow people in this church, brothers and sisters who love you enough who would pray with you every single day. I personally will give you my number. And you can call me anytime. Now, at my house, I don't get very good service. But if I see a missed call, you text me and I get it, I will call you back. I will text you back the next day. I am tired of seeing young people deciding to go out in the world for things that are so much better. Because it's not. It leaves you broken, cold, empty, hurting, and a scar that can't be fixed and can't be hid. Scars are a worse thing. It's a sign of a wound that's been healed over. But there's still a sign of the wound.
That's wrong.
It's always a reminder. Let's come and we will find a place to pray. Let's not give in to the wounds, the devices of the devil, the devices of the world who would try to challenge you, draw you out, who would try to say, you know what? I can offer you something better. Come on. Don't give in to that, please. I don't know when my friends that I grew up with will get back in church. I don't know when they will. I have faith they will one day. I had a friend who was a brother to me. Every single weekend in the summer, every single week we were together. Either I was at his house and he was at mine. Things happened in his life and he decided, you know what? I'd rather go play football. I'd rather not come to church today. It started out like Sunday night service he missed. He missed one service. Next thing you know, he missed 2, 3, 4. Camp meeting came. We would stay the night every camp meeting. All week long with the fellow preachers. And we would laugh, we'd carry on, we'd have a great time. We'd have paintball wars out in the woods at the camping grounds. Because we had such fun time together. I look at him now. He's not married, he didn't have a kid. He has nowhere to deal where a church even is. Because he chose to have the things of the world instead of the things of God. He once at one point said, you know, I'm feeling the call to preach. I feel like I could do a difference. I feel like I can make a difference in the world. I feel like I could always be something better. Last time I talked to him, I asked him, I said, are you going to church anywhere? He said, why? What's it matter? Remember, this was a young man who I loved deeply. He was a buddy, he was a brother. Now, would do anything for him to this day. And he'll call up and ask, say, I need your help. I will be there in a heartbeat. All the way back up to the end. It may take me 9 hours, but I'll get there. I'll have you right by his side. I will pack up tonight if he were to call me. But he has to have a mind for himself. If I could make a mind for young people today, I would make the mind up there don't worship God. I would make that mind up for you because it's a great experience. It's a great lifestyle. But I can't make that for you. You have to make that for yourself. Right. Right. Young people, let's come. Let's find a place to pray. Give everything